Years ago, Martin Luther King Jr. would lead at least 125,000 down Woodward Avenue from Adelaide and Woodward all the way to where we're standing right now in what is known as the Detroit Walk to Freedom. That march was organized by the Detroit Council for Human Rights, which was led by Reverend C.L. Franklin. And of course, if you don't know C.L., you probably know his daughter, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Reverend Albert Clegg, who will become the founder of the Shrine of the Black Madonna and change his name to Jeramogi Abebe Ajiman. Benjamin McFall, the owner of McFall Brothers Funeral Homes, and James Del Rio, who would go on to become a judge. They would lead that march in conjunction with the UAW, which of course was led by Walter Reuther, the mayor of the city of Detroit at that time, Jerome Kavanaugh, and they would lead that 125,000 people down here, and Martin Luther King Jr. at what was then Cobo Arena would give a speech, a 30-minute speech, and at the end of that speech, he would leave a crescendo of the "I Have a Dream" refrain.
Organized labor and the civil rights movement are inextricably intertwined. You know, we stand together, and it is a great, great prestigious honor to be a part of this.
I hope that as you step out into the street this morning, you are making a commitment to organize our community.
This is a generational moment, and it's personal for me. My father marched 60 years ago as a 6-year-old in this march.
We see people banning books. People want to ban the book that talks about Dr. King. This march would not be acceptable in Florida under the current government, under the current legislature.
1963!
Why is it a little known fact that Dr. King rehearsed the "I Have a Dream" speech here in the city of Detroit first before he took it to
Right.
DC?
Well, you know how it is, man. You know you're getting your sing on at one place before you go sing.
You working it out?
Yeah, that's right. You working out the kinks and stuff. And this ain't no small place, Detroit. If you can do it in Detroit, then you can withstand all kinds of critique, because people here are rigorous about performance, about intelligence, about oratory, and the like.
You can never stop marching. You know, it's critically important, though, that we have fixed policy to protest. Protest without policy is pure performance.
Charity, you were intentional with bringing your daughter here. Why?
Absolutely. Well, she has to see this in action. And she also gets to see Mom at work in a number of ways. She also needs to see Mom marching down, and she needs to get the opportunity so that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, she'll be able to say she participated in the march as one of the first steps toward her own fight for freedom for all of us.
This is commemorating the Detroit downtown walk from Woodward to Cobo Hall in 1963. And of course, that's Aretha Franklin and Dr. King. And I was 6 years old when I was in the first march in '63.
So you were in the original march in 1963?
Yes, my dad brought me.
This is what the march scene looks like.
Why was it important for you to come out today?
Because my dad marched.
Wow.
In 1963, my dad. I looked for pictures because I understand I was on his shoulders. So when
you were here 60 years ago?
Yes, I was with my dad.
How does it feel to be here 60 years later?
It lets me know we have a lot more work to do. I'm excited that people came out. I really am excited. I'm also excited. I was with my mom, and I decided this was important for my grandson, so I wanted to make sure that he had this experience with me. So I'm just very, very excited about being here.
Why was it important for you to make that trek up 75 to be here today?
Well, let me just tell you, Flint and Detroit are family. I would say Detroit's the big brother, Flint's a little brother. I've got family. All my people have been born and raised in Detroit. My dad and my grandpa are both Detroit police. And when you see all the connections, it's a 75 corridor. You gotta be here. Yeah. And you love what people stand for, and that's freedom.
60 years later from the March for Freedom that Martin Luther King, Reverend Albert Clegg, and Reverend C.O. Franklin and so many others put on, how does it feel to be here 60 years later?
Well, you know, my husband was at the first march, and when you would talk to him about what the most important work he ever did was, he would say this work, the civil rights work.
What do we want? Freedom. When do we want it?
Freedom.
ain't free, and we have to continue to march, continue to agitate, and continue to put our hands to the plow to ensure that all black and brown people, not just in Detroit, but into the entire country, has an opportunity to experience life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
My favorite quote was, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." We never forget that.
Sacrifice crusaders, predestined for greater. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. We won't stop.
There's a huge portrait behind my desk of Dr. King and this march in 1963. I keep it there as a reminder of the promise of the dream, but also a reminder of what happens when you don't honor that dream. I look at that picture and think just 4 years later, this city erupted in violence that we still haven't recovered from.
And as you look to your left and you look to your right, and particularly to the young people, remember this day. Remember the experience. Carry the dream forward. We are the dream that the dreamers dreamed.
And I'm here today to announce that in the state of Michigan, when we've seen the federal Voting Rights Act weakened time and time again, when we've seen people show up outside this convention center trying to stop the counting of votes of valid Detroiters, trying to intimidate people from participating in our democracy, we say in Michigan, we're going to take the lead and fight back. That's what King's Dream is about, and that's why we were proud to introduce this week a Voting Rights Act for the state of Michigan.
I dream of a world where we don't have to fight day after day to have our voices heard. But I know I can't create that world on my own. It's up to all of us to take active parts in making our world a better place for the younger generations.
Let us be the generation that shatters the chains of injustice, discrimination, and oppression. We have the power to shape the future. Let us march with courage and resilience, and with the unwavering belief that a brighter tomorrow is within our reach. Together, let's make Dr. King's dream our own.
Watch One Detroit, Thursday at 7:30 p.m.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.